Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. This is my perspective, and I'm your host, Shelby. I wanted to share 13 things that I have learned this year and that I am still currently learning. But before we get into the episode, let's debrief Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was so good. We went over to my parents' house and we had breakfast. I haven't had crepes since I went to Canada, so I had the entire batch of gluten-free gluten-free crepes. So yummy. I went out with Max and his friends out in Fullerton. I haven't been out also since graduation, so that was very fun. I was very into it because I haven't drank in so long. It made me really crave to go out because I'm very much that person that I don't need to go out every single weekend. Actually, alcohol, it makes me disgusted anytime I drink it very frequently, meaning because I haven't drank in so long made me really want to go out this time. I was the perfect level of drunkenness the whole night. I most likely did not need that last tequila shot. I'll talk about that in my dislike of the week. Oh, also, I just really missed all Max's friends. They're some of the greatest guys I've honestly ever met, and makes me just know that Max is such a good person because his friends are. So it was nice to catch up with all of them since they're back from college, and I hung out with his cousin and her friends, and they were all so sweet. This week I have a meeting for the pod. It's just an intro meeting. I really don't know what's going to come of it, but it's a media company who represents podcasts. Fingers crossed it goes really well. I don't know really what to expect. I've only been doing the podcast since January, but I think my dedication has really been showing throughout the pod, and I'm not giving up on it. I'm just going to keep doing this. I think 90% of podcasts fail by 10 episodes or don't even make it to 10 episodes, and then 1% of podcasts make it past 100. So I am determined to make it to 100 episodes. Also, podcasts like The Skinny Confidential didn't even start doing well or become their full-time job or make a revenue or become the podcast they are today 5 years later. So for myself, I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm giving myself 5 years to make this podcast what I know it can be. So that's something very exciting for myself that I'm looking forward to this week. And then another thing I'm looking forward to is Max and I are going to Big Bear. We were actually supposed to go to New York, but he has to go to Arizona now for training. So we compromised on Big Bear. It's nothing like New York, but I really wanted that white Christmas. It's going to be all Christmas themed. I got us gingerbread decorating like little men, and then we're gonna hand make and bake a gingerbread house that's gluten-free for myself. I'm so excited. We're gonna get hot chocolate. We're gonna go see Christmas lights and do all the Christmas things. I hope there's an ice rink. I want to ice skate. Max can watch. Very stoked about that. Even though it's not New York, it is good enough for me. My obsession of this week is taking it slow. I think mainly because I was hungover yesterday. I have been just really enjoying the slow life, letting myself take naps, not overdoing my to-do list. I very much am the person that if I have a full Sunday to myself, I cannot just not do anything. I want to get as much off my to-do list as I can. I feel like it's a never-ending list and I can't just lay there and do nothing. It's weird. It's like the anxiety in me won't let me do nothing, but the depression in me wants to just take a break. So it's like I have an angel and a little devil on my shoulder at all times. I think because of Thanksgiving, I had work off on Thanksgiving, that next Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. So it was a very long weekend for myself, and I think I even got off work early on Wednesday. So I had a lot more time to get my life together, clean my apartment. I had a friend staying with me all weekend, so that was so sweet to see her. I haven't seen her in so long. Yeah, that's like my obsession of the week. It's just letting myself de-stress and not take it too hard. Like last night, I wanted to watch Netflix. Let myself watch Netflix. Like I don't need to be doing my school right now. I can watch Netflix and just veg out. So my dislike of this week is not only did I have a great night partying with all Max's friends that I haven't done in forever, but I actually took an Uber home from Fullerton and I was drunk and I fell asleep in the Uber. She woke me up when we got to my apartment, and right when I walk into my apartment, I realized I don't have my phone. I actually didn't have my phone the whole night because I left it in one of Max's friends' cars, but I realized that my phone probably fell on the floor of the Uber. I contacted Uber. That moment, I put my phone on lost mode. I tried contacting them again the next day, or they tried contacting the driver, and there was silence. Nothing to be heard. My phone is literally completely off, and I know it wasn't dead. It's just weird to me because my phone was so old, they don't even sell it anymore. It was completely shattered. There's no value in that phone. So pretty much the highlight is I'm not gonna buy a $1,500 phone at the moment. I don't have the means for that. AT&T has like a lost stolen prevention thing, so I only had to pay $250, and since they don't sell my phone, they were going to give me a 12, which is already an upgrade, and I want to produce better social media stuff anyway, so it kind of worked out. And then my mom actually was on the phone with them for my phone and found out that they are having a $10 upgrade, and my phone has been approved for an upgrade since I was in high school. So she's actually going to she's upgrading my phone to the 14, and then she's going to let me have it, I think, and then she's giving my little brother the 12. So basically, because he was supposed to get the 14, but since I'm way older and my phone is so old, she was like, okay, you can have the nicer phone. And he's literally 10 years old, so he can have the 12, which is still such a nice phone. I have it right now. But also, the guy who came to fix my phone or help me set up was here for an hour because AT&T was having so many issues, and I still technically don't have a phone. I just have my little brother's number, but I'm not allowed to log in or anything. So Max and I lost our streak, which I'm so sad. He was so creepy. I'm trying to think if it definitely was pretty privileged in the way that he stayed an hour longer than he should have and helped me set up my phone, even though we never resulted in setting it up. It's pretty privileged because he helped me do that, but at the same time he made me feel so uncomfortable, and he was hitting on me, and I just really wanted him to leave. So I eventually just said, I'll just go to AT&T. This is taking too long. Guys, I keep forgetting to update you on what books I'm reading. I don't know what books I finished since the last couple podcasts. I totally forgot about that segment, but I'm listening to None of This Is True on Audible for the book club, and the Audible is so good because it changes voices, which I really like, and it's a podcast, the main character has a podcast, so it's kind of cool to listen to that. And the whole audiobook, I'm not listening to it right now because I'm basically logged out on my phone. While I was listening to it, I really liked it because I'm kind of confused if the main character is gonna murder everyone or something. I don't really know. The title of the book makes it seem like none of this is true, she's making it all up. So the entire book I'm questioning, is she even telling the truth? So I'm so confused, and something suspenseful is happening, but I don't know what has happened. It's really keeping me drawn in for chapters after chapters. Now my phone's broken, so I haven't even had the chance to listen to it recently. I just downloaded How to Be a Badass at Making Money. I read just How to Be a Badass a long time ago, and I think How to Be a Badass at Making Habits. Those are one of the first self-help books I've ever read, but it's always been on my to be read list for probably 2 years now, so I'm finally getting around to it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all my segments for this week. But let's get into today's episode. The first thing that I'm still learning is taking a break does not mean that I'm lazy. A part of me loves to rot in bed and lay on the couch and watch Netflix, but then there's always a little part of me telling myself that I'm being lazy, that I'm not being productive enough, that my to-do list is too long to relax. And something I've really had to ingrain in my brain is that rest is just as important as being productive. I've actually learned something in my health coaching class so far. So there's 2 kinds of circadian rhythms. Let me see if I can pull it up. So we have a circadian rhythm, which is the internal clock that coincides with the 24-hour clock as the Earth rotates around the sun. However, there's one other rhythm called the ultradian rhythm, which is the wake-rest cycle that occurs every 80 to 120 minutes throughout the day and night. Let me talk about the ultradian rhythm because this is what I've learned recently about taking rest. Everything in nature is either a circle or a wave. When you look at the ocean, it's a wave. The sun rotates around the earth like a circle. Even our heartbeat is a wave. So we have many circadian rhythms that happen many times throughout the day called ultradian rhythms. The body needs a 20-minute break every 90 minutes of productivity. So some ways that you know you need a break. You're really tired, you have fatigue, low energy, brain fog, you're hungry or thirsty, you need to go to the restroom, you're being fidgety, you think everyone's annoying. So there's many ways your body's telling you you need a break. So a way you can do this is you're at work, you set a timer for 90 minutes, and then after that 90-minute, you either go to the restroom, you make a coffee, you walk around the block. You let yourself take a moment for yourself because you'll be a lot more productive if you take a 20-minute, even a 10-minute break than if you just ride through that break. And a lot of people do this. You wake up and you skip breakfast. Then you go to work and you work through your lunch break and you eat lunch at your desk. And then you get home and you go straight to a workout. We are always telling our bodies, not right now. Not right now. It's not a good time. If you need to go to the restroom, you're like, not right now. I need to wait. And your body is trying to communicate with you and tell you, I need a minute to recoup. And this is all about body-mind regulation. Pretty much during these 20-minute breaks, you're letting your cells do micro tissue repairs, and it restores your energy, your hormones, and your blood sugar balance. It will help your mood and also prevent you from getting sick. And when you don't take breaks, you will have a downward spiral of productivity. You'll have inflammation, you may get sick, or you're going to make more mistakes at work. So think of it as the more you take breaks, you're going to be more productive. I know it seems weird because you're like, I can't take a 20-minute break throughout the day. Think about it, the more you skip those little breaks, the worse your work is going to get, or your body's going to get run down. So you're doing this for the long run within just the day, and you're going to prevent stress, prevent cravings, and fatigue. So I think something I've really been trying to incorporate and learn recently is to let my body rest. I won't work or doing anything that really makes my brain think. So that can be a book that's considered self-help, or learning something. That can be working on the podcast. Basically, I stop doing everything by 8 p.m. I like to do by 7 p.m., but sometimes that doesn't happen. And then by 8 p.m., I'll shower, I'll clean the kitchen, I'll watch TV or read a book, or I love to make cookies and ice cream. So I try to do anything that will calm down my system instead of making me think and really wire me up so I can't fall asleep. Second is growth can still be found in stillness. Finding growth in the stillness refers to the idea that personal development and self-discovery can happen in the calm, quiet moments. We live in a very fast-paced, idealistic world that's filled with distractions and notifications. Taking time to be still, both physically and mentally, can lead to a lot of good. When you are at peace, you have more time for reflection and self-awareness. When you're quiet and focused, you can actually pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're experiencing. And you can't do that. Miso's drinking really loud right now. Damn, he's thirsty. It's really hard to listen to how you're feeling if you're constantly being stimulated by podcasts, music, TV, friends. You have to now go out of your way these days to be at silence, to be quiet and think. It can be really hard to think because it's so busy. Letting yourself relax is giving you the opportunity to remind yourself, what are you working towards? Where do you see yourself in this next year, in the next 3 years? And it also lets you build your goals and figure out how you're going to get them. It's also giving you space for creativity. It's letting you look at things from different perspectives, letting yourself not be burnt out by creativity. Finding growth in stillness is about creating intentional spaces for quiet. It's a conscious effort for you to step back from the constant flow of all the activities you partake in and allow yourself to think deeper into yourself. 3, what others think of me is not my concern. This has been the hardest one for me to learn, and I'm always going to be learning this one. A part of me is a little bit of a people pleaser. I don't know if I'd fully say I'm a people pleaser, but I definitely am. I wonder what people think of what I look like, how smart I am, my accomplishments. Graduating early, I think, was more of me checking something off of my box and more for like, oh, hey, look, I graduated. Not only did I graduate, but I graduated before you. I think I did that more to just feel good about myself, not necessarily because I had a plan in the end. Like, obviously there were pros to graduating early, but I think I felt like so many people thought I would never have gone to college, or I never would have graduated with good grades, to be honest, that I was like, see, I did it, and I did it faster than the average person. You know what? It doesn't matter. I actually doubt that many people even cared at this point. Or I guess I do still kind of care what people think about me, but everyone is so concerned about themselves. We rarely think about other people. Every random night, I'll go on Instagram and stalk all the people that I used to be friends with, or the people from high school, and just see where people are at, you know? If you think about it day to day, nobody's actually thinking about what your hair looks like or your skin that day. Everyone is worried about what they look like, how they are being perceived. The more energy you put out thinking about other people thinking about you is just going to make you feel worse. I was reading the book 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think, and it asked me a question to journal. It said, write a list of everything you don't like about other people. And it said, look at this list and how much of it is things you don't like about yourself. So the more things I don't like about myself is the more things I actually find in other people. So if I am dreading my skin, I can't stop looking at other people's skin all day. And that's not because of them at all. That is all an internal feeling that I'm projecting onto those people. You are your only best friend you're going to have your entire life. You only have yourself. So why do we spend so much time caring what other people think? What we care about ourselves is going to be way more important. Nobody can fix that relationship for you. You have to do it yourself. You're just going to keep feeling empty inside the more validation you're looking from other people. I can only be offended by the words I believe are true. This was a really interesting one because let's say someone says, you're so stupid, Shelby. You're never smart. You're never going to make it. That would only hurt my feelings if I believed what they're saying is going to be true. If I took their words at face value. But the thing is, they don't know me. They don't know how hard I work at school. They don't know how hard I work at my job and all the hours I put in or the little things I do for other people. Nobody sees how much effort you're actually putting in. You have to realize that most people are projecting. You are actually having a conversation with a mirror sometimes, you and yourself. And if you just take an insult and you think about it and you realize, no, that's not true. I am smart, I'm confident, I work really hard. You can shrug it off. It's a lot easier said than done. It's definitely something I want to keep working on, not letting every little thing get to my head. 5, vulnerability is not weakness. I don't know about anybody else, but as soon as I tell someone something or open up about anything, I get a vulnerability hangover. I, for a really long time, have been very shut down. My coping mechanism since I was a little kid was to just shut down and not say anything. As I've gotten older, it doesn't fly with friends. It doesn't fly in a romantic relationship either. So I've slowly been peeling back the onion layers as I've gotten older. And some of them have come back up as I've been burned. One of my friends, Hannah, visited this summer. She created a very safe space for me to open up to her and talk openly about how I feel about things and my experience. In that moment, I did not feel judged at all. I felt completely okay to be myself. Off on a tangent, someone has to create that space for you. You can't just go telling everybody anything, or maybe that other person won't feel comfortable if you're not creating the space for them to be open. So she created the space, and I shared so much about myself that I have rarely shared with a lot of people. And the next day, we're driving, and I brought up vulnerability hangovers, and I was just thinking to myself since the moment I told her that weekend was like, why would I say all that? Like, why would I tell her X, Y, and Z? Like, now I feel so exposed. All my thoughts and feelings are out on the table, and now she can deny me as a friend or tell me I'm weird or judge me. She didn't. She didn't act any differently towards me. And I think I've had so many experiences where I did open up to someone and I felt hurt in the end that now I have anxiety after opening up to somebody because I'm so afraid of how they will respond. But then there's moments like talking to my friend Hannah, where they respond so nicely, or they relate in some way, or they're just there to listen. They're not there to give you any sort of explanation or anything. I was so grateful for that. I needed that positive experience, and I think I needed to stop telling myself that being vulnerable is a bad thing, and that only bad things can come of it. I had to change my mindset around that and realize that vulnerability is a way to connect with other people, a way for other people to feel like they're not alone. And I can never make people feel that way if I don't open up myself. 6, what I've been taught is not a fact. Sometimes it's truly someone's opinion. I think of it as the more you learn, someone tells you a story. A lot of it, you have to just take little nuggets of wisdom. You don't take the entire story and believe it as the Bible. The idea of not everything you learn is a fact emphasizes the importance of critical thinking, discernment in the process of gaining knowledge. Facts are pieces of information that are objectively true and verifiable. However, not all information that will be presented to you throughout your life is necessarily proven. Some information is subjective, influenced by personal opinions, biases. What may be presented as a fact from one perspective might be viewed differently from another. Understanding that people have so many different viewpoints, that can help you recognize that information is sometimes colored through the lens in which they are perceived. For instance, science. That information is often viewed by multiple people and is always subject to change and new discoveries are made. So what might be considered a fact today might be refined and updated in the future. The food pyramid. It is constantly changing because nutrition is a field that is something's always changing and they're always updating it for the public. There is so much information and not all of it is accurate. Some sources have misinformation. Even if it's inaccurate, it doesn't mean they're trying to be harmful. And then there's disinformation, which is obviously false. I think personal experiences contribute to our understanding of the world as well. It's not always universal facts. Your experience is always valid. It just might not be an objective truth for everyone. And I think this is where an open-minded approach is always the best. It allows you to consider all different perspectives and be willing to adapt your understanding to a new information. And this is adopting a student mindset where you're a lifelong learner, and it encourages curiosity, looking for new ideas and concepts. I think it gives us the ability to navigate a world where information is diverse, sometimes subjective, often changing. 7, some people might not agree with this, but I'm starting to learn that people change. A lot of people say people don't change, usually in the terms of dating someone. Oh, he won't change. You can't change him. But I'm looking this at more of myself. I've seen myself change so much. I think Max has dated 3 different girls at this point. Or when we first started talking, I had been sober for a year. Not that I intentionally was doing it, I just hadn't drank in over a year. I very much was in high school. I was doing track. I was working out a lot. I was very insecure about myself. I kept needing male validation but would never settle down with a guy. Always wanted some boy to be texting me. We started dating. I was really into making money. I was working 12-hour shifts. I was not close with my family. I was very close with my friends though, and I was obsessed with Max. And then I got into health and wellness, very into working out, taking care of my body. Now I am post-grad, a podcaster, a dog mom. I care a lot about the people in my life. I think people change and we grow, and we can't expect people to stay the same. I don't think you can change someone in an instant, but over the years you can see someone change. I am not the same person I was 3 years ago. I used to party and crave so much validation, always say yes to everything, and now I am much more at peace. I feel more confident in myself, and I feel smarter. I feel more well-rounded as a person, and I crave knowledge. I crave experiences, and I don't think I could have said that years ago. We have to give people the opportunity to show that they can change, and not over a quick period. You can't just go to the gym once and expect abs right away. We have to let a long time to pass. Change always happens when you don't expect it. I didn't plan 5 years ago that I would be a podcaster and that I would be into cycle syncing and fixing my hormones. Like, if you told me that when I first went to college, I would be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm not into that right now. Next is sometimes less is more. This can apply to pretty much anything. Sometimes less friends is better than a ton of friends. Having a very minimalistic home is better than a huge home that feels very cluttered. These are all materialistic things like my closet. I don't have a lot of clothes, but it's higher quality stuff. I'm starting to learn that quality of my life, the things I have in my life, the people in my life, are way more important than producing a lot or having a lot. Honestly, simplifies my life a little bit more. I'm living a less fake. I don't need the biggest home or the most friends, all the newest items out there. I just need to be happy and content with what I currently have. Switching my mindset from I need to appreciating all the little things that I have makes me a happier, more content person. I'm not always striving for more. I'm letting myself be content with what I have. Something I read today was sometimes we say that was good enough, but we don't really believe ourselves when good enough is not perfection. Good enough should not equal perfection. It should be good enough. You actually gave enough of your effort. That movie was good enough. Your love life was good enough. Let good enough be good enough. Don't equate good enough to not exceeding perfection. Next one is to slow down and enjoy the present. This goes in with my obsession of the week of letting myself rest and slow down. I read the book, The Power of Now, and it was a reminder for myself to ground, to appreciate all the moments I'm in. I'm the type of person that is always looking for the next best thing. When I was in middle school, I couldn't wait to drive. I couldn't wait to get to high school. When I was in high school, I could not wait to go to college. When I was in college, I couldn't wait to graduate, I didn't really care about being 21, but I could not wait to graduate. Now I'm graduated and I can't wait to get engaged. And when I'm engaged, I can't wait to get married and then have kids. The list will never end of what I can't wait for. And then once I'm there, once I'm 50, 60 years old and I don't really have anything else to look forward to, I forgot that I wasted my whole life always looking for the next best thing, and I never appreciated the moment I always wanted to be in. I could not wait to graduate. And now I'm waiting here for the next milestone in my life. And I'm like, wait, Shelby, you waited so long for this moment. Why don't you let yourself enjoy it? Why don't I sit here and appreciate the home that I have? I live in a beautiful area that people all over the world want to live. I have a dog and I can't wait to get a second dog, but why can't I just enjoy the dog that I have now? Why can't I just enjoy the moment in my relationship that I'm in? Learning to enjoy where I'm at is one of the hardest things I've been trying to do, to retrain my whole brain to just appreciate this exact moment. And I try to be present even in the smallest ways by eating my food, my meals throughout the day, and not going on my phone. So I haven't had a phone basically for 2 days, or maybe even 3. It's been a very interesting reset because I go take Niso on a walk and I don't have music. I don't have my phone to distract me. So it's forcing myself to sit there and think and appreciate the sky, the moon, the people on the street, and it's letting myself be bored a little bit. I think we would all be a lot happier people if we just enjoyed where we're at instead of always wishing to be somewhere else. Struggling does not mean you failed. Just because you're having a hard day, years, does not mean you failed at life. If you've even had a business not work out, it doesn't mean you failed. You're just getting one more step closer to the right direction. You have survived all of your worst days so far. 100% you have survived them all. You just have to keep going. Sometimes I think that when, let's say, my social media doesn't do well and I put so much time and energy into it, I'm like, wow, I failed, I should just quit. But the thing is, if I just keep going, if I ignore how it performs and I just do what I enjoy, I won't ever fail. It might be hard, I might struggle at it, but it doesn't mean I'm failing. I'm only failing if I let myself fail. Second to last thing I'm learning is expect nothing, appreciate everything. I'm the type of person that has a bajillion expectations for anything I'm excited about. For my birthday, for trips, for life milestones. And I get really disappointed because it almost never goes the way that I thought it would. Because I'm putting these unrealistic expectations that the other person who maybe is involved did not know about. And that's unfair to them. I just created this whole fake story in my head, and then as the moment is going, it's never going to live up to it because I made it up. If you go into a situation, a day, anything, with no expectations, just letting life play out the way it's supposed to, you will appreciate every little thing that happens. One of the best things I ever did was get a journal, and it had what are you grateful for and what are the best things that happened today. And it made me look back on the day and write what I was grateful for, and I always tried to do something new and what happened that was good. So I ended the night every day with a positive mindset, and instead of looking at everything that bad that happened that day, I made myself pick out even the smallest things, like the barista smiled at me, or someone paid my parking, or as little as it gets. And I'm trying really hard to appreciate everything, to always say please and thank you, always appreciate someone going out of their way to help me, or the little things my boyfriend does is make the bed. It might seem common sense to make the bed after you sleep in it, but I appreciate it every time he does it, because if I don't expect him to do it and he does it, I'm way more happy than I expected him to make the bed and he didn't make the bed. Now I'm mad at him, or I don't expect him to make the bed and he does make the bed. I'm going to be happy. Versus if I expect him to do it and he doesn't do it, or if he does, or let's say I expect my boyfriend to always open the door for me and he does open the door, I'm not going to appreciate it as much as if I never set that expectation, but I just let him do his thing. Last one is peace is more important than understanding why something happened the way it did. Letting yourself feel the feelings and go through everything that you felt in your experience instead of resenting what happened to you or pushing it off. Not letting yourself feel those feelings will ultimately let you feel peace at the end of the day, because you experienced what you did, you let yourself feel those feelings, and now you have moved on and appreciated the lesson it taught you, and you can end the day with peace. Sometimes dwelling on, why did this happen to me? I didn't deserve this. Why doesn't this happen to somebody else? Makes you resent everything. Sometimes the reason why is not a good enough answer, or we'll never get it. So you have to find within yourself some sort of resolution. Give yourself peace, because at the end of the day, how you feel is all that you have. I promise you, when you feel relaxed in your home, nobody is flooding your mind, nobody is causing you stress. It feels a lot nicer when you can lay in bed and go to sleep, be okay. When I retired from gymnastics, it was very, very hard. Gymnastics is my life, and I still think about it till today, and it's almost been a decade since I did it. I used to dwell so much. It was like, why did that girl get to go to the college I wanted to go to and be a gymnast and have that team aspect? Why did that girl not get hurt and I got hurt? The list goes on. But the more that I dwell on why did they get that and I didn't, takes away from where I am now. Prioritizing your peace means recognizing the value of inner calm and emotional stability. It's implying that maintaining a sense of peace is very important for your mental health. Sometimes trying to figure out the why behind every situation will just leave you exhausted. Prioritizing your peace is a level of acceptance. Sometimes it's impossible to figure it out. And when you do this, you're actually focusing on the present. You're living in the moment. You're acknowledging that this happened in the past, and you might not know every detail, but you can appreciate the current every moment feeling. Choosing peace is also resilience, I think that's one of the words I use to describe myself whenever someone asks. You know how to navigate through life's uncertainties. You won't life's uncertainties without being consumed by the need for answers. Peace also comes with acceptance, accepting that some parts of life we won't understand, that there will always be mysteries, wondering why this person said that, wondering why this friendship didn't keep going, why that guy never liked you. Finding peace and acceptance in whatever situation you're experiencing is a skill that will always continue. I also think that when it comes to relationships and finding peace is letting you have better understanding and empathy, but instead of fixating on every detail, you're letting yourself take yourself out of that situation, have that acceptance towards the other person, and also respect. Those are phrases that I am still learning, and I think that's going to have a huge impact on my life. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for listening to the pod. Please rate the show. Follow me on social media. The pod is My Perspective Pod, and the TikTok is Shellbright. I'm also on YouTube and Pinterest. I appreciate every single one of you. DM me if you have any questions. I can't believe we're coming on 1 year of me podcasting, and I definitely will be doing a year recap eventually. I hope you have a great day and rest of your night, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.